Habit number one for us is going to be mindful eating. Slowing down, eating foods with thought and understanding that the foods that we're eating should have purpose behind giving us health and nutrition is a really foundational piece that we want to establish before we go into any other areas. So the analogy we want to use here is not what we do, it's how we do it, right? It's how we do what we're doing. So if we talk about we're doing a squat, we want to talk about keeping your torso upright, getting below parallel, doing it in the right position to get the most inherent benefit from that exercise. It's the same thing with what we're eating. So if we want to eat protein, carbs, or fats, if we want to eat a certain amount, it's not necessarily the what, because everyone has access to specific diets and protocols they can do, yet we're not getting great results from those protocols. And the reason behind that is less about the what and more about the how, right? If we're not mindful with the way we're eating, we don't get the inherent benefit from that protocol, just like we would on squat. We can do 3 sets of 10 on squat, but if someone's not getting below parallel in all 3 sets of 10 for whatever reason, or they're just going to a variable range or a variable position, all of a sudden that exercise that's really powerful and that protocol that was supposed to be really impactful isn't as impactful and isn't meaningful. And the same thing with nutrition, right? I want to give you 2,500 calories, 100 grams of protein, 200 grams of carbohydrates, and 100 grams of fat. That, whatever that amount is. But if we're not mindful with the way we're eating and being focused on the how we're eating, we're not going to get the inherent benefit from whatever prescription or protocol we're trying to follow. So the simple way to do this is slow down. Chew your food more thoroughly. If we chew our food more thoroughly, not only do we improve the digestive capabilities of the foods that we're eating, we improve the process how we respond to these foods or these amounts of foods. One of the biggest first steps is chewing your food thoroughly to break down food so it digests quicker and goes to our system more efficiently. And what that does is if I'm eating carbohydrates, I produce an enzyme called amylase, which is in our saliva, that helps to break down these carbohydrates. So we see huge blood sugars rise up when we start to eat foods too quickly. And that could be from higher glycemic foods, meaning foods that digest quickly or simple sugars. It could be on the other end of even lower glycemic foods that have more fiber and are a little bit more complex in nature, but we still get this huge blood sugar spike. And the reason behind that is simply because sometimes we just eat too quickly. We inhale our food without chewing. So that's going to be a big process here, is can we chew our food more thoroughly? And the simple thing is maybe you want to look for maybe 8 to 10 chews per bite, which it's hard to get count and hard to follow through. So we want to give you some kind of pro tips to work through this stuff. What we're going to open up with is a challenge. So when you're hungry, and when you're starving, we want to put you guys in the situation to really understand the process of eating slower and the impact of doing that. So we're going to take a small food, whether it's we'll use a nut for example. So we're going to, when in your situation you're starving, line up 10 almonds and have 1 almond per minute for 10 minutes. You can substitute peanuts or cashews or anything else that's small in nature, like a raisin. And ask yourself that question before, when I'm starving, and then after 10 minutes of slowly eating a peanut or an almond or a cashew every minute for 10 minutes, how hungry I am afterwards. And chances are, when you slow down and eat, and you might be eating a drastically less amount of calories, that you actually feel fuller. And what this is going to do is trigger this process of ghrelin, which is this hunger hormone, to slow down. And we won't release as much insulin, which is that blood sugar hormone that controls that excess energy that's circulating through our system and slows down that release of blood sugar and trying to rush to get that out to the peripheral. And what this does, it gives us a healthy respect for, again, well, it's less about what we're eating and more about what and how we're eating it. So if we're prescribing you should have 100 grams of carbohydrates in a given day, if we slow down and eat it, that 100 grams of carbohydrates is going to be that much more impactful. And another really good tip to work through is, what am I doing while I'm eating? Do I sit down and look at my phone while I'm eating? Do I watch TV while I'm eating? Do I just inhale food without any conscious thought? Right? There should be an intimate relationship with the food we're eating, the purpose and what behind we're eating it, and that process of inventorying what I'm doing while I'm eating. So slowing down, removing distractions. Let's try 1 meal a day. If we can spread that out over every single meal, I think that would be a really big first step. So remove electronics, remove TV. A good little way to handle this is eat with someone you care about or someone you want to talk to and have a conversation and spread that meal out. Be in that moment with the food that you're eating, so when you're eating that food, We slow down. We don't need to finish that entire plate if we're trying to lose weight. We get more value from the foods that we're eating if we're trying to gain weight. All the while, we're just getting more bang for our buck from the calories that we're taking in. So this whole process needs to be set up on this foundational piece of being mindful and in tune with what we're eating and how we're eating it.